Welcome to the Heavenly Treasury broadcast, where we help believers achieve God's financial abundance for your life. I'm your host, Ron Turba, author of the Heavenly Treasury series on biblical finance, coming to you today with a message to my new followers, okay? I did a broadcast earlier this month on the election and everything, and nothing to do with politics, oddly enough, and that's probably the only broadcast you'll see, particularly on election day, that had nothing to do with politics. It had to do with the Bible, finance, and how it relates to your life, okay? And if you're one of those people who watched that and then have now found my channel, well, welcome, okay? What we want to do here is to help you. Again, our motto exactly is that, to improve the financial well-being of believers through biblical principles and expand the wealth of the kingdom by taking from the enemy. So that entails two things, all right? It entails you growing into your walk and relationship with the Lord, and number two, going out and fighting the battles that he's called you to fight. And they are battles, believe it or not. And so this is something that's very, very different than most of the other channels that you'll ever see on finance, on markets, whatever you want to call it, okay? Because we talk a lot more about that than just, like other financial broadcasts will do. I've seen a ton of folks have, couples that call in, they got money problems, whatnot, relationship problems, whatnot. And then we come in and they give some, explanation as to what they can do better. And a lot of them are good. Not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and trash people because they have bigger audiences than I do, at least for now. So, what's really going to be different about this is that you're going to feel that, number one, you're going to get on a better path financially by listening to here. But number two, you're also going to have some peace of mind and ease as you're walking through your road of life. Because there's a lot of folks that you will listen to, particularly when it comes to finance, whether it's increase, because that's something we also focus on here quite a bit, is increase. Most other financial channels do not. They just say, print out your expenses, print out your bank statements, print out your income, whatever that sandwich is in between income and expenses, let's figure out something to do with it. There's a lot more to it than that. And how we earn money is very, very important, and it's got to be part of your financial future. Whatever future that is. I'm assuming that most of you want something better than you currently have. Even if you like where you're at, which most people aren't, but even if you are liking where you're at, there's always a place to improve, because with God, you're either in two places. You're either, number one, increasing, or number two, being refined so you can increase. There's no other place you should be. It's either increasing or being refined so you can increase. There's no other place for you to be. There's no waiting on the Lord, waiting on the opportunity. When you're ready and refined, he'll present the opportunity. He's done it plenty of times for me, and he'll do it for you too. So that's something we focus on here. All right, but I want to give you a good example of something that I heard on I'm not going to say competing, because every single market and radio show and channel and broadcast, particularly when it comes to finance, even ministries, okay, they're never going to talk about something like this. I found on another program this morning a recent recording of another show. And the individual called in and said his take-home pay was about $4,200 a month. His house payment was about $2,100 a month. And immediately the host just slammed the phone down and said, sell the house. Okay? Now, most people are going to say that. Okay? Because, again, just wise financial decisions, your home and where you're dwelling shouldn't be more than half your income. It shouldn't. But there's two possible avenues out of that. It's, number one, sell it and move to somewhere cheaper, which isn't just an easy, I'll just snap my fingers and leave, okay? Or there's, hey, if I can get my income to $6,000 a month or $7,000 a month and keep the house. That never gets discussed, because most people have a very hard time doing that. It's a lot easier and simpler for someone to just print out the bank statements, go through income and expenses. And again, most people don't do that, but even the ones that do, that's really all they're going to focus on, is that sandwich in between of income versus expenses, whatever's in between, we'll do something with. Okay? So you're never going to hear that on any other broadcast, but if somebody did that to me, I'd ask a lot more questions than just slam the house and just sell it. Just slam the phone down and just sell it. I wouldn't do that. I'd ask a number of different questions. Now, if somebody purposefully overpaid because they wanted granite countertops and a perfect house that's has no issues whatsoever, and they paid a premium for it, okay, maybe that's one thing. So that's a question that I would ask. Number two, I'd also ask is, how many children do you have? What's the dwelling like where you're at now? Okay, do you want to have more children? Okay, because sometimes if you're paying, you may be overpaying for a house, but the reality is that's a house that's going to be sufficient for your growing family. And as we've talked about many times here, I have a broadcast on, the more children you have, God's going to lead you into more increase financially, because he knows that those children need to eat. And he knows that if you're on his path for your life, his financial flow for your life, then you're going to increase as well, because you have to. More kids require larger vehicles. More kids require larger dwellings, houses. I say dwellings because I'm someone who's lived full time in an RV. I have. That was my primary dwelling for almost 2 years. It's been a while since I lived in there, but it was almost 2 years. Now my living room is greater than the size of that travel trailer we were in. Okay? But again, I've lived in a lot of different places, and I could answer that question a lot better than most other folks could, particularly with the Bible. Because there was a time when I was in the current house that I was in, and we had a very large financial storm hit us. And I heard very, very clearly, you're not losing the home. Now, I thought we were, but we didn't. And so, again, it really just depends on where you're at. Are you in the location you need to be in? Okay? Those are questions I'm going to ask too. It's not just as cut and dry as, black and white income versus expenses. Yes, you can't just make your bank account grow by pouring water on it. I get that. But there's other solutions beyond just what is the easiest one or the simplest one. There is. So that's what we want to do here is go through every single situation that you may be going through and help you on your road of life that's going to be part with the Bible. Because the reality is this: the God that we serve lives on streets paved with gold. And if you're broke, that's not honoring him. It's not. And so you've got to understand, and one of the big reasons why I want to talk about biblical finance and increase as part of that financial future that you would like to achieve is that if nobody else wants your life, you're likely not going to lead a lot of people to Christ. All right? Because if you're going to talk about abundance and you're not walking in it, or at least not yet, or on a path to, people aren't going to want that. Because the number one hindrance, the number one political topic every 2 years, every election cycle is always the economy. It always is. Or if it's not the economy, it's another issue that's related to the economy. It always is. So that's the number one hindrance and problem facing America. And the Bible has a lot of solutions for that. And that's what we talk about here. We talk about biblical solutions to your problems. Biblical solutions to your problems. For some of you, if you doubled your income today, you're in divorce court tomorrow. We talk about that here too. Because there's a lot of things that God knows that you're going to face when that increase comes that you need to be refined for right now. Because one of the biggest things that I talk about in my book, the first book of the series, is that most people who fall from grace never ever recover to the height that they originally obtained. Very rarely does that happen, particularly among celebrities. And I talk about that quite a bit in my first book, link in the description below. So that's also something that we want to be careful on is, again, focusing on one of two things. You're either increasing or you're being refined to increase. One of those two. It's always going to be that, because God wants you to continuously increase wherever you're at. Increase in your spirit, increase in your physicality, okay? Because, Caleb, if you look at the book of Joshua, it says he was as strong at 85 as he was at 45. So don't let that be a hindrance here. We're going to talk about a lot of things in the Bible from a financial point of view that you're never going to hear from any of your friends, any of your business coaches, any of your bosses, any of your ministers, any of your pastors, none of that. You're going to hear about it here, though. You're going to hear about that here. And here we are. Sun's going down in this beautiful part of the country that I live in. All right. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you if you're following me. Thank you if you watch me. Thank you if you watch the content. And most importantly, thank you if you have a story to tell from something that you heard on one of the broadcasts or read in the book. That I definitely want to hear about, because the email address that you can use to reach me is in the description below. Okay, you use that and someone will get that email to me and I'll be able to read it. So I hope you have a very blessed day today, and I hope you come back for some great content, because I'm going to hear what the Lord is doing in your life. I want to hear the path that he's on for you. I want to hear the vision that you have for yourself and your family, and I want to hear what battles that you have overcome that you want to help others do the same. Because that's something that also that I want to be able to convey to you, is that a lot of you may be thinking right now, nobody else knows what I'm going through. I can promise you I do. I've been through most, if not all of it. All of it. Okay? It's been a very long time since it happened, but I have been penniless. I'll just tell you right now, I'm not there now. I'm not there now, and I certainly will be in the future. But there was a time when if my bank account had zero on it, it was doing better than I currently was. I'll put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay? So just think about that for a second when you think, oh, he doesn't know what I'm going through. He's just somebody who's just, giving everything to him and all that stuff. Trust me. All right. If you're ever feeling like there's nowhere else you can turn, nowhere else that really understands you, nowhere else that can give you a good solution to what you're going through, by all means, that's what this broadcast is here for you to do. It is. And that's why I've firmly dedicated every penny of royalties that I earn off the book goes directly to the poor, because I want to make sure that this is my service to the Lord and his kingdom. Even though I'm not a minister, I'm not a pastor, I'm not called to be, I'm in business, I'm in the private marketplace, and I want you to be able to have a great and mighty life that you would like to achieve. Okay? So that's what we do here on this broadcast. And if that's you right now and you want to hear something, some topic that's really hurt on your heart, that nobody else is talking about, something you're going through, something that you're discussing with some friends about finance or whatever it is, some unique situation that you're in, whatever that is, all right, just go ahead and shoot me an email below. Again, email address is right there. I will get to it, or at least somebody will get it to me. I'll say that. Somebody will get it to me, and I'll be able to read it, and maybe I'll do a broadcast if that's what you want. So, if enough people send me a message about, hey, I want to hear about this, or I read some passage in the Bible, how can this help me? That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. So with that being said, I want to say thank you to all the followers. I want to say thank you for all the folks who have been blessed by the content. And I want to say thank you for everyone who has purchased the book. If you want to purchase it, the link is in the description below. With that being said, thank you very much. And I will look forward to talking to all of you very, very shortly.